So everyone's dying to know if yours truly will grace the bodybuilding stage once again.
What's up, desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another daily bodybuilding news live. And we've got a big news story in this one. Phil Heath speaks on what he's doing in 2023, why he's getting comp ready in 2023, which shocked me, might shock a few of you guys, what he has to say as well. And also, is he going to make a comeback in 2024 or beyond? I have a poll up right now if you are watching live, and if you're watching live as well, give the video a thumbs up, smash that like button, also subscribe and hit the notification bell button. But it's an interesting video on the gift, 7-time Mr Olympia Phil Heath. Also, we've got another bodybuilding news story. We're going to go over the 2023 IFBB Pro contest schedule, what contests are coming up. There's plenty of them to come very, very soon once that New York Pro kicks off. And we're going to go over all that, plus the 2023 Mr Olympia qualified list, where we're at right now, and how many competitors we may see at that 2023 Mr Olympia. But I want to go to some physique updates first before we get to the big Phil Heath story. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Let me just quickly pull this up so you guys will actually have a contest schedule up there now. But let's have a look. Patrick Tour, his client, Nihat Kaya. I'm sorry, dude, if I'm mispronouncing your name, but you tagged me in your story today, and I'm going to go to that as well. But he is 20 years old at 6 weeks out. He's going for his pro card in one of those European countries. He put hashtag Turkey. I can't remember if he's Turkish and he's going for his pro card elsewhere, or if he's from somewhere else and he's going for his pro card in Turkey. So sorry if I'm totally off on that one, but look at the shape on this dude. He has an absolutely phenomenal physique. Like, I can't remember seeing a 20-year-old that looks much like this. There was a guy in Australia called Aled Barry a while ago, and he was phenomenal. He didn't continue on with it, but this guy's physique is next level. Let me know what you think in the comments. How do you think this guy will do as an IFBB Pro? And shout out to you guys getting in the comments live as well. And if you are watching on replay, get in the comments and let me know your thoughts on Nihat, because he looks to me to be absolutely phenomenal. And I'm going to show you, it might be a little bit laggy, the video, because that's what happens on StreamYard. But he tagged me in this one. You can see at the bottom left-hand corner, Desktop Bodybuilding. Let's play it, and you'll be able to see at least a bit. And I'll try to pause it if it when he hits his shots. So you can see the front double bicep looks absolutely phenomenal. Such balance, tiny waist, super round quads, just absolutely insane physique. Can he use more on the upper body? Absolutely, but he's 20 years old, so he's got plenty of time. Let's see if he goes into any other shots here. I think he goes into a few more. And then he goes into as he sits on that leg, he goes up, goes into an awesome side chest. You can see the hamstring hangs pretty good for this age as well. Pretty decent thickness in the upper body. It's not like he's lacking a chest or lacking arms or anything like that. He's pretty damn balanced, so he can just focus on adding size to his physique after he, hopefully for him, gets his pro card this year. Then you can see him here. He's got some good detail in the hamstrings. The glutes are in. And obviously being coached by Patrick Tour as well. Patrick is a king of conditioning. Now, the one spot I'd say he probably needs to add some masses from this back. If he can add some more mass in the back, which will come with time. He's 20 years old. Absolutely crazy physique. And once he adds more of a back, he's almost a little bit like a Regan Grimes in some ways, although Regan has a phenomenal back. But and we'll see him go into a rear lat spread here, I believe, or maybe not quite. No, not quite. Unfortunately, cuts out. But what a phenomenal physique. Let me know your thoughts on this guy. I think that he's going to be a star of the future as long as he keeps his head screwed on straight. He is going to do absolutely phenomenal. Now let's look at who's qualified for that 2023 Mr Olympia. I'll blow this up a little bit for you guys so you can see it a little bit bigger on your screen, and get your questions in as well if you are watching live, and your comments and your opinions as well. So we have 8 men qualified for the 2023 Mr Olympia. We've got Brett Wilkin, obviously of Bodybuilding University. We discussed this yesterday on the show, so make sure you check out that episode. The link is in the description below. Hardy Chupin, obviously your 2022 Mr Olympia. Derek Lunsford, who placed second. Nick Walker, who was third at last year's Olympia. Brandon Curry, who was fourth. Big Ramy, who was fifth. Samson Dowda, actually, who was 6th, but won that Arnold Classic and made phenomenal improvements. And then Baruz Tabani, we're going to see I suppose, round 2 of Baruz versus Brett Wilkin at the 2023 Mr Olympia. So it looks like a great list that's forming already. But let's look at how many contests are left on the schedule, because there's quite a few still. I mean, everyone's saying that there might only be 15 guys, and Brett also mentioned this yesterday, but I believe there will be more unless a guy decides to do 3 contests, win all 3. It obviously takes away Olympia spots from other guys, which I have no problem with. I think it is what it is, you know. That's the system they've got, and I have really no problem with it. I don't mind Bob Chicorelli's suggestion of a bump system, where they basically give it to the next guy if the guy who comes first is already qualified. Then we have a sort of predictable amount of guys that will be doing the Olympia. Okay, so the New York Pro is on the 20th of this month. Next month, apologies, of May. So we got that. The next weekend, we have the Cali Pro. So that's another 2 contests on the schedule. The weekend after that, we have the Toronto Pro. So we have contest 3 weekends back to back. So that's why it's important you subscribe to Desktop Bodybuilding, because I'm going to be covering every single one of these 3 shows, doing live streams of the prejudging, finals, do a watch party, and you guys can give your opinions live as well on that. Then 2 weeks later, we've got, on the same weekend, we have the Masters Pro, which is the IFBB League West Coast Classic, which is 40 and 50 plus. And that same weekend, but the next day on Sunday, we have the M-Pro Classic Pro Spain, where we'll see guys like Mikel Crizo go in that. We've got, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, really phenomenal guy making his pro debut as well, and I'm sure there'll be a bunch of other guys jumping in that one. And then we have 2 weeks later, we have the Orlando Pro, which Stan Delange is doing from Bodybuilding University. The weekend after that, we have the Mr. Big Evolution in Portugal. Then the weekend after that, we've got the Vancouver Pro. So as you guys can see, we'll go through and count them all at the end. Then the weekend after that, so we have almost a contest every weekend. We've got the Chicago Pro. We've also got Masters there. It's got 40, 50, and 55 plus. And then the weekend after that, so this is what I'm saying, week after week. Oops. We've got show after show. We've got the big man. Oh, wait, sorry. I think I went. Oh, no, we've got another Spain Pro. Okay. So we've got the big man Spain Pro show. And then the weekend after that. So this is what I'm saying. The Tampa Pro, which is always a phenomenally, attended show in terms of competitors. It's always got a stacked lineup. 2 weeks after that, we've got the Texas Pro, which is always a very, very good contest. They came on the scene with a bang. I mean, we had Ian Valier, Steve Kuklo, Phil Kahar. They really blew that show up with a crazy top 3. And actually, Martin Fitzwater was in that same show, but he wasn't at his best in that one. Then we've got, the same day, we've got another Masters show, which has, it has 70 plus. 35 really isn't, I don't know. I feel like 35 isn't really Masters, but that's just me. We've got 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 70. I'm not sure why we're jumping from 60 to 70 there, but I suppose makes sense. And then we've got the Masters Mr. Olympia, which is just 1 week after that. So this contest schedule is so stacked. Then a week after that, we've got another Master show as well, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 plus. Wow. And then the week after that, we have the Italy, the Yamamoto Pro Cup Italy. Then the weekend after that, we have the IFBB Pro League European Pro Championships. Okay, so we've got the Shrew Classic France Pro. That's 2 weeks after that. Now, I don't know where the cutoff is for this year's Olympia. Got another Masters contest. These seem pretty popular, the Masters Pros. Then we've got Legion, which is 1 week after that. Then we've got Italy, which is the same weekend. IFBB Pro League Italy Pro. So we've got a few shows in Italy. And then we've got the Mr. Olympia, which is about a month, 4 weeks after that. So we've got a gap to the Olympia. Oh, I just got a thing saying my mouse is low on battery. I hope it does not die before the end of this. Praying it doesn't. So let's go through and count them. And sorry I haven't been back on the stream for a little bit, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you guys getting the comments. I'll try to get back to them before my mouse hopefully does not cut out. So let's go through and count how many contests there are on the schedule, because there is a ton. So let's go reverse on this to what we've got left, at least before the Olympia. So we've got, that's for Masters Olympia, so let's go. So we've got, I'm not going to count the Masters shows, so I'm going to leave those out. Some of them have Masters and Open as well. What did I get up to? Where's the Mr Olympia? Anyway, we'll count from, okay, so we've got Legion there, we've got that, okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because you got to remember Masters is an Olympic qualifier as well. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, I think that's just the Masters, 15, 16, 17, I don't know if I miscounted this. Yeah, 17 more shows. We've got 8 guys qualified. So we could see up to 25 guys on the Olympia stage this year if another 18 guys qualify individually. Because even though, you know, we had more last year, it's still, this is crazy stacked. So it's going to be a huge contest season. So let's get into the Phil Heath comeback news. So this is the sort of story that everyone's sort of been waiting for probably in this video. So I'm going to play a clip. It was posted on the Transcend HRT page, which is Phil Heath's sponsor, or one of his sponsors. And it's pretty damn interesting. And he said he's going to be doing a ton more content on there as well. So let's have a look at this and see what Phil Heath has to say.
To know if yours truly will grace the bodybuilding stage once again. Not this year, but this summer, I do plan on looking as if I am doing one, if that makes anyone happy. I'm just gonna let nature take its course. I'm sitting around 255 pounds right now. I've been a lot leaner and I feel like everything has been working really well. Until then, I encourage you guys to continually follow me, because I'm gonna be back in here at Transcend doing a lot of these talks.
So let's have a listen back to what he said. So it sounds like that he is gonna look like he's competing this year. So I assume that's just not conditioning. I assume it's actually muscle as well. So let's have a listen to what he said.
Plan on looking as if I am doing one, if that makes anyone happy. I'm just gonna let nature take its course.
Yes, it does make me happy, because Phil Heath, if he's looking like he's going to compete in the Mr Olympia or a contest or whatever this year, I mean, is this all for promotion for the HRT clinic that he's sponsored by? I don't know. I mean, Kai Green stayed big. Obviously, it's worked at least somewhat for him in terms of keeping his name out there, but I think people have sort of given up on that, and some people are soured towards Kai Green because of that. Now, if Phil Heath doesn't come back, I don't think it's going to sour people too much, because I believe that he actually does have some intention and some want to come back to the bodybuilding stage. The reason being is that I actually watched all of Phil Heath's lives when he was doing those on his channel. And they were like raw and honest, and he was completely upfront. So I think that Phil, and what he said on those as well, sorry, I'll let you know what he actually said. He said that people were asking him about if he'll come back, and he said, oh, look, you know, Arnold was just able to go away from the stage for a few years and then come back, and he was able to regain the title, and he was sort of talking in that way. He said, oh, so why aren't I sort of allowed the same sort of grace in terms of stepping away for, and he said maybe 2 or 3 years from not competing, and then make a comeback to Mr Olympia, or the stage at least. So the fact that he's saying that, he definitely wants to keep that door open. So whether he knows if he'll come back himself or not, I don't think he particularly knows. So I think that there is a distinct possibility we may see Phil Heath back on stage once again. And I heard him speak other times about a potential comeback, and it sounds as though it's not just a pipe dream for Phil Heath. I think there's a chance he definitely could come back based on what he said. And hopefully my mouse doesn't die before the end of this, so you guys might get stuck with me for another couple minutes while I charge it. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm going to check out what the poll results are now. So if you haven't voted yet, vote in the poll, and then I'll get to your guys' questions in just a moment. So if you do have any questions, post them right now. And if you haven't given the video a thumbs up, smash that like button. It really actually does help a huge amount. So if you do just even watch this content, it takes you 5 seconds. I put hours into this video every morning. So yeah, if you could do that, it would be much appreciated. So let's have a look at this. It might play my audio back at me. Hopefully not. Let's see. Okay, it's not doing it to me. That's good. So the poll results are: when will Phil Heath make a comeback to the bodybuilding stage? We have 50 votes in here right now, and we have 71% saying never, 2% saying 2023, and yep, I would definitely agree with that 2%, because I don't think that he'll come back in 2023 based on what he said, unless, this is the other thing I want to mention, unless Phil is going to do what Arnold did back in 1980 in Sydney, Australia, where Arnold rocked up out of nowhere, and it's very hard to do these days. So if he said, "Oh, I'm not coming back," I don't think if the fans would be mad if he just rocked up at the the Masters like check-in, and everyone's like, "What?" and he's all tanned up, and that I think people would absolutely love it. But I don't think Phil's going to do that, or maybe it would be not at the Masters and actually at the Open Olympia. That would be very, very cool. But I think the Mr Olympia or whatever contest he is going in would really, I don't think he's doing that because of the age we live in. They would want to promote the contest, which they could say we could sell more tickets because of it. So that's one factor. The other factor is Phil wants, if he's doing this, he wants promotion out of it. How much promotion are you going to get saying the day of the contest? I mean, you get a lot that weekend. You get a lot of promotion that weekend and just after, but it's not going to be near as much. So for that reason, I do not think it'll be 2023. So 70% never, 2% say 2023, 22% saying 2024, and that's what I would be putting my bet on. If I had to say between never and 2024 onwards, I would definitely say 2024 onwards, because it definitely could be 2025. But 2024, 2025, I can see Phil Heath making a comeback to the stage. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on that and why you voted what you voted in that poll. And if you are watching on replay, let me know what you would vote in terms of that poll. But anyway, guys, that's it for this video before I get to your questions. So let's get to them right now. What are you guys having to say? Here we go. EP09, fellow YouTuber. First vote, I think Phil will never compete again. And Jay's perspective, I saw when he voted on this, it was 100% said never, so it only must have been a few votes. He said, most accurate poll you'll ever see. That's funny. And you'll say he's pulling a Kaya right now. I mean, he might be. We don't really know for sure. Yeah, if Phil did this for many years and was like, I might come back, stranger things have happened, then I think that would upset a lot of people over time. Let's have a look. Here we go. Sinja E says that topic will never end, so he will just never compete again. Here we go. EP09 says, wonder what happened to Athleticon. Phil was supposed to do that. I don't know if Phil was ever supposed to do it, but that was the rumor going around, definitely inside the industry. So, I mean, Athleticon, when they actually scheduled to do it, I believe it would have happened had obviously the whole situation with the pandemic didn't happen. And I think after that, it was like, well, Expo's come back, and they're probably like, let's wait and see. So that might still happen, but I've heard no news on Athleticon since COVID, basically. So, here we go. Dex says, in order to disrupt the Olympia brand, you need to come up with a good reason for people to switch. I Am the Rock isn't good enough. I mean, people don't really need to switch unless you're hoping to be the premier bodybuilding contest of the year. But if it's within the IFBB Pro League, then I think people will definitely do it, and it could become huge. Having The Rock behind it, if it's able to lead to mainstream sponsors and more money, you never know. Could challenge the Olympia in terms of what guys want to do if they're at an awkward time to each other. What's up, Red Loop? Yeah, I mean, what it was initially going to be, because I was actually competing in the IFBB, NPC league in Australia at the time, and they spoke about what Athleticon was going to be in terms of an amateur contest. So what it was going to be, this is from Dirt Frog as well, this question. What it was going to be is basically you can earn points, and if you get a certain amount of points in terms of being an amateur, you get a certain amount of points for placing first or winning an overall or whatever, then you can qualify to be able to compete in the amateur at Athleticon. So it was going to be like a premier amateur contest. So there's only going to be so many people from so many countries doing it. So that was something I was interested in doing for sure. But obviously Athleticon never eventuated. and I pulled out of doing the Arnold Classic Australia because it was up in the air, which sucked. EP09, Nihat is unbelievable. He'll win mid-level shows right out of the gate. I mean, if he competed this year, I don't think so. I don't think he's quite big enough yet. Here we go. EP09 says, what do you think of Nick Walker's physique right now? Do you think his legs will improve enough to win the Olympia someday? I'm really not sure. I mean, I'm looking at his physique now. I looked at it today. Let's actually bring it up. Let's bring up Phil Heath's physique. Not Phil Heath. Nick Walker's physique, sorry. Let me just get over to this. So we'll go here and we'll type in Nick Walker. So he's lighter than previous off seasons. I think he got up around 300 pounds last year prior to the Olympia, but he seems to be staying lighter now. Is this because he's lowered the amounts of stuff? Is he just staying leaner by choice? What's the actual reason for being 277 pounds as opposed to 300? Now 300 is obviously uncomfortable, can cause digestive issues if you're forcing food, all that sort of stuff. But the main complaint from me, Arnold, was he wasn't full enough or big enough. And also, Nick does himself no favors by wearing chunky Jordans. It obviously is going to make his legs look smaller. It's a very strange look wearing Jordans with posing trunks. I'm going to say it. But overall, I mean, you can't really complain about this off-season look. It is phenomenal. It's just whether he's going to be freaky enough, and I'm sure he'll be freaky. I'm sure once he starts prepping, everyone's going to be going, Nick can win the Olympia, but we'll have to wait and see. But good question. I'm really not sure because I don't know where he's at in terms of what he's doing supplement-wise. A lot of pro debuts coming up. Absolutely right, the Red Loop. There is a ton. It's going to be a very exciting bodybuilding season, and that's why I said subscribe to Desktop Bodybuilding, because there is, what did I say, 17 more Olympia qualifiers prior to the Mr Olympia. Whether those last one or two are actually qualifiers for this year's Olympia, I'll check that and try to get back to you guys on that. Yeah, shout out to Red Loop, says like the video, you freeloaders. Funny, man. Tony HGH says, Xavier, just do Control F and search /23. What do you mean, dude? In terms of what? Let me know. And they have a Red Loop. Justin Shire, Carlos Thomas Jr., good Vito. There's a ton more too. There will be tons. Yep. Dirt Frog saying, who knows, with the right amount of focus, Nick could improve for sure. Here we go. Here we go. The Red Loop says, I think when all the dust is settled, we'll have 20 guys tops on the O stage this year. I think it'll be about 20, yeah. Because there's the potential for up to 25, and then if there's a special invite, 26. 26 is the absolute maximum it could be. So I don't think it will be that. I think it will be a couple of guys maybe that might win 2+ shows. That brings it down to 24. There's 2 guys that win 2 shows. Then if you have a couple of guys drop out, you know, you're hanging around that 20 mark, which I think is a good number, honestly. EP09, Phil isn't going to compete. He wouldn't push any amounts of PEDs past TRT unless he knew he was competing 100%. But he says he wants to look like he's getting on stage. So whether that just means conditioning, I hope it means at least a little bit more size as well. Shout out Russell Owens, love a channel, brother. Keep the content coming. Yeah, people are liking it lately. Justin Shire will be getting on stage in his Air Jordan 1s. That's funny, man. Yeah, I would love this. The Red Loop out with the Rock's Athleticon and in with Shaq's MuscleCon. I mean, is that a real contest? Let me know. I would love that. Shaq could promote a bodybuilding contest and absolutely blow up this industry. Shaq has, well, obviously a huge amount of money. You see the amount of endorsements and whatnot he does, but he's a good guy and he loves bodybuilding. He's always at the Olympia. We have to harness these guys and hope to encourage them to get into bodybuilding in terms of actually promoting it, putting on shows, make him really become a star of this industry. You can imagine if Shaq put on a huge contest and was basically the new Arnold in terms of, you know, promoting, showing up at shows and be like, hey, what's going on, guys? It's Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, I just want to put on a show. But I mean, you see Shaq posing and everything these days. He's awesome. He's great. He could be very great for bodybuilding. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for getting in the comments, showing the love, and make sure you check out the latest episode of Bodybuilding University. I'll bring it up on the screen now, just so you guys can easily find it next time you want to check out Desktop Bodybuilding on YouTube, just to show you how easy it is to find all the shows on Desktop Bodybuilding. Let's go your channel. And then when you go to Desktop Bodybuilding, you got the live that's up right now, obviously here. You got all the daily bodybuilding news lives along here, obviously coming at you guys just about every day. Who wins? New one up there, Andrew Jacked versus Andrew Jacked, 2022 Mr Olympia versus the 2023 Arnold Classic look. It's actually a really interesting comparison. Nick Walker, same deal, and then we've got the comparisons from the Arnold, all that sort of stuff in HD footage. Bodybuilding University, I'll zoom in a little bit for you guys so it's not so small on your screen. Obviously, the latest one is Samson Dowder, Mr Olympia favorite. We discuss a whole bunch of really cool topics, and all the comments on this one are really positive in terms of you guys liking this episode. It was, I feel like we're back in a groove now, and it was, we had a bit of humor, and then also just basically a lot of, I think, really good knowledge from 3 top IFBB pros in Brett Wilkin, Martin Fitzwater, and Stanimal Standalonju. And then the episode prior, we had a really good one as well. Actually, we've had some real killer episodes lately. Nathan Diasha, Sergio Oliva Jr., and Australian 212 pro top 10 Mr Olympia finisher Aaron Pilates. We discussed Big Ramy and just a whole ton of stuff on that. And then the episodes before, we had such a long one that I put it in 3 parts, and we had Chad Nichols, coach of Big Ramy. And honestly, I'm surprised these didn't get even more views because, I mean, Chad sort of just broke a lot of news in those videos. EP09, if you're watching, check out that because you might be able to pull some news stories from those Chad Nichols ones if you haven't watched them already. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Daily Bodybuilding News Live once again. I'm really enjoying doing these. And if you guys are enjoying watching them, show some love. Share the show out on Instagram, stories, all that sort of stuff. And I'll try to actually share your shares as well, just to show some love. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. That's it for another episode of Daily Bodybuilding News Live with me, Xavier Wills. This is Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are out.